Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dolly. And I just want to thank you, first of all, for just having the vision to really receive what is so important about the subject matter we're going to be talking about. And to the extent that, the people that you've invited to this call, they know that if it's something that gets you this excited, it must be pretty important. And so I thank you for your vision. I want to thank everyone for joining tonight. Again, my name is Verdita Monk. I live in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and I recently got introduced to Dolly through a dear friend of mine who is also a part of what we're doing here. But I want you to understand that what we're about to share with you is probably the best thing that you've heard about in a long, long time. I'm an extremely busy person. I'm an interior designer. I have all kinds of projects all over the country. And when I heard this, it was something that I felt that I had to tell everybody I knew. And so let me just tell you how my husband and I got started so you can kind of understand why I am here. We were contacted by a really, really good friend of ours back in November, and we were headed to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where my husband is from. And he met us on 285, and he gave us this little bitty tiny patch that's in my hand. And he said, he gave us several of them. And he said, I really want you to try this. And he knew we were about to go out of town. And when we got to Milwaukee, what we did was he says, please, use this patch. And he had invited us to a call similar to the one you're on right now. And so we knew what this patch was doing for other people. However, we're pretty healthy people. And so we didn't really know what to expect. We just put the patch on because he asked us to. And so when my husband put the patch on, what I noticed that particular night was that he was not snoring. Now, the reason that's significant is because my husband was a chronic snorer. I mean, the kind of snoring that you can't sleep if you're in the same room. He was choking and coughing and doing all kind of stuff. And many times I would tell him, this has been going on for 10 years. I would tell him, you have to go upstairs because I cannot sleep. So I was miserable. He wasn't really that miserable because he was sleeping, even though he was choking sometimes. So that's how, to be honest with you, that night, November the 11th, my husband stopped snoring. And to me, if you can feel me, that meant everything to me. That was November the 11th, and he has not snored again as of today. And that is really phenomenal. It's something I have to pinch myself sometimes because it's so quiet. So that just kind of gives you an idea of why I'm here. And what happened when I heard other kind of testimonies that you're going to hear tonight, my husband and I said, there is no way that we could keep this a secret. Everybody we know needs to know about this, okay? So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to share my screen and kind of go through this PowerPoint so that you can kind of follow, what I'm saying visually. So the big question of tonight is, have you been patched yet? And see, that's why Dolly is so excited, is because she's been patched and she's seen what has happened to her. She's seen what has happened to so many people around her, but she didn't want to keep you misinformed. So she invited you to this call tonight. And once again, the question is, have you been patched? Because you want to be elevated, activated, and regenerated. And that's what is going to happen to you when you apply this patch. Now, let me tell you about this patch. Once again, it's a very small patch, about the size of a quarter. It operates like a Band-Aid because there's paper on the back and you just peel it off and stick it on your body. But this is a stem cell activation patch. Why is that important? Why is stem cell activation so important? Why is stem cell therapy so important? It's because as we get older, you guys, the slower we heal, whether it's from some type of injury, whether it's our brain, whether it's, some things going on in our body, whether it's high blood pressure, that we're healing much slower. And by the time we get to be age 30, I don't know if you know this, but by the time we get to be age 30, half of our stem cells are gone. And this is why we begin to age. And then by the time we're 60, we're really about to lose all of our stem cell activity. And so this is why it's very important to replenish those stem cells. Now, how does this patch work? This patch is called the X39, okay? And what is in this patch are nanocrystals, organic nanocrystals created in a lab. nothing but like salt and sugar. Then those are crystals, but these are very, very tiny crystals. When you apply this patch, what happens is the light from your body reflects off of the crystals. It's something called photobiomodulation. It reflects off of the crystals. And when that happens, those crystals elevate something called copper peptides. The copper peptides are the holy grail of anti-aging. The GHKCU copper peptide in particular. And so once those copper peptides are activated, something miraculous happens, something they said never could be done. It reactivates your own stem cells, not a stem cell that was injected into your body with a needle that might cost you $25,000 or $10,000, or it depends on where you're getting it and what you're getting it for, but they cost thousands of dollars. And guess what? People turn to stem cell technology when they can't think of anything else. Like if they have a child that's autistic, and I know two people in particular that have gone out of the country to get stem cell therapy for their children with an injection, and it still did not work. Or if you're in some kind of situation where maybe your parent has dementia, or something like that, and you feel like there's no hope. Some people are literally getting injections for those reasons. And so this is why this patch, which is non-invasive, non-transdermal, nothing goes into your body. Remember, it's just reflecting off of the light of your body. And when it does that, it activates that copper peptide, which is needed to reactivate our stem cells. Now, the company that makes this technology available to us is a company called LifeWave. It's a company that's 19 years old, and it went from $20 million a year, as you can see from this growth curve below, to $280 million in the last 2 years. And that's because the reason it went there in the last 2 years is because of this product, because there were other patches that our founder, who I will introduce you to in a moment, created back then, but it wasn't until he created the X39 that the company took off. And this is why we're so excited. Here's the CEO and inventor that I've been telling you about, Mr. David Schmidt. This man is a genius. I mean, he's just a phenomenal. I mean, just amazing. And he is so amazing that this is how his company got started. Over 20 years ago, he was commissioned by the Department of Defense to create something for the Navy SEALs to keep them energetic and energized as they went on their mission, which had to do with some new submarine, some mini sub. And they needed to stay alert and energized for like 30 something hours, I believe. And that's how he got started. And he never stopped creating these patches. But it was only about 39 total that he actually released for use. But out of those 39, he has over 130 patents. He's a 2-time recipient of the Advanced Technology Award. This technology is patented. So the only company that can market the X39 patch is LifeWave for the next 17 years, because it was, created in 2020. So it's patented for 20 years. So we have until 2040 to be the exclusive marketer of this technology. So that's just an opportunity for us, for those of us who understand business. Now, how do you wear this patch? Is very simple. All you have to do is take the patch, put it anywhere on your body, and it just shows in this diagram behind the neck as well as below the belly button. And the only reason for that is because there were over 80 case studies. See, when you have a patent, it has to be proven. And so they had over 80 case studies worldwide to some of the most impressive, some of the most credible physicians worldwide. So there's all kinds of case studies, all kinds of doctors' reviews associated with this. Matter of fact, there are many doctors who knew about all of this before we even knew about it. And so, but when you put the patch on, you can put it anywhere in your body, but because of the case studies, the diagram just shows the 2 places they chose to make it consistent. Once you wear the patch for 12 hours, you throw it away. I put mine right by my toothbrush so that when I wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, I'll put it on, and then 12 hours later, I'll take it off, throw it away. the next day, the next 12 hours, you'll do the same thing again. You must drink plenty of water because your body is gonna, you don't ever know what your body's gonna do. We really don't know. Everybody's body's different, but your body may start detoxing. And when your body starts detoxing, you wanna flush those toxins out of your body. And that's why it's so important to be hydrated with plenty of water or some type of electrolytes. Here are some of the things that you might experience, as many people have experienced once they activate their stem cells. They may experience rapid pain relief. They may experience reduced inflammation. We know that inflammation is the root cause of many disparities in our body. It supports wound healing, energy and vitality, and mental clarity. I cannot tell you what I would do without this patch because I am so busy. I have so many different things going and pulling me from different ways. This patch has allowed me to compartmentalize what I need to do, and it gives me the confidence that I'm going to get it done because I have such mental clarity. It enhances sports performance, faster recovery from exercise, and improved skin appearance. Now you're looking at a diagram, at a chart right here where they took a 77-year-old woman and they put the patch at the base of her neck. And what you're looking at is her brain activity. In session 1, this is what her brain looked like. The orange area reflects the inflammation in her brain. And then this is right when they applied the patch. In session 2, notice that this is 2 weeks later, all of the inflammation of the brain is gone and the stem cells begin to reactivate. But by session 3, look how much stem cell activity, the light blue area is the stem cell activity that took place in a total of like 6 weeks, you guys. This is amazing. So if it's doing for a 77-year-old woman, I mean, that lets us know this is what's happening to us. Our brain is beginning to be reactivated with the stem cells that are in the brain. Now, I told you there were over 80 case studies. And if you look at this chart, these results right here, this is what they discovered in the 80 case studies. The first few days of using the patch, over 4,000 genes began to reset. That is huge. Within 6 weeks, the brain became balanced. People that had PTSD, the symptoms started decreasing. Anxiety and depression started going away. Within 3 months, their collagen began to increase. So the wrinkles started decreasing, the hair started growing back. This is in 3 months. Then the structural integrity of their skeletal system and muscular system increased. You know, as we get older, our bones begin to get less dense and brittle. So this is why you have so many older people. We don't want them falling because once they crack a bone or something or break a bone, it's hard for them to heal. And once what's happening is everything is beginning to renew itself. Here's the one I like. Within 6 months, the heart reverses in aging. That means that for every 6 months of using a patch, your vascular age or your heart age is going to probably reverse by 8 years. And this was proven with a recent study where 14 out of 15 people lowered their vascular age. Okay. And so many people have taken that test. And I know one lady who was in her 70s took the test and they said her heart was 35. It was the heart of a 35-year-old. So this is not anti-aging, people. It is age reversing. This is huge. Now, I know that many of you are wondering, where can I go to get more information? There's a plethora of information on the site that's shown right here, startx39.com. That's where you're going to find the doctor's reviews. You're going to find the 80 case studies. You're going to find, you know, all kinds of testimonial videos. If everyone could please mute their line.
One of the windows.
Okay, I muted that person. If everyone, I'm sorry, just take a screenshot or write this site down, startx39.com, okay? Now you're looking at a visual of something that I told you about, how injuries will start, you know, healing faster. Here's a lady that got this scar on her face from some type of injury, and look what her face looks like 21 days later. Here's another lady that, you know, she didn't have an injury, but she had wrinkles and things like that. And then the texture of her skin, the integrity of her skin just enhanced within about a year. I mean, that's not a facelift, that's the X39. And then you see people's hair who were almost bald starting to come back and thicken. So these are just some visuals some things that we've experienced or has happened to people as a result of wearing the patch. So what I'm going to do at this moment, I'm going to bring someone up who I have a whole lot of respect for. She is a she's a well, she can tell you what she does, but she's a very accomplished nurse. And you know, one thing about people in the medical field, they're more than probably very in tune with their body. They kind of know what to look for. So I really have a whole lot of respect for this individual. Miss Brenda Stanley, would you unmute yourself and start your video so we can see your face and give us your testimony of what this patch has done for you, Brenda? Unmute yourself. I see Brenda there. Can you unmute yourself, Brenda? Let me see if I can ask her to unmute herself.
Unmute, I got it.
Okay, can you share your video too?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm sorry. Hold on, my 1 second. Okay, there we go. Can you see me now?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
At the very bottom left, hit start video.
Okay. Yeah, I did unmute and I hit start video.
Okay, well, if you can't get it, we'll just have to, you know, just go with hearing your voice. We wanted to see your face, but that's okay. Let's get you hear your wonderful testimony.
Okay. All right. I was introduced to the stem cells by my sister Linda. I was having some severe pain in my leg, and I was taking so many different medications to try to relieve it, and nothing was helping. And she mailed some patches to me, and I put them on my leg, and I was like, I called her one day and I said, "Can you believe I'm up walking like nothing ever happened to my leg?" So that right there let me know that the patch really did work. But fast forward to February of this year, I was very short of breath all of a sudden, and I was rushed to the hospital. And when I went to the hospital, the doctor said that they did some tests, and they came back and they said, "You have a saddle pulmonary embolism." And I know what that is because I am a registered nurse. And I was like, "You have got to be kidding." And so they said, "Yes, you have a submassive embolism, and the right side of your heart is not is under a great strain, and we got to move you from this hospital." I was at a particular hospital. They said, "We can't even handle this. We have to call an ambulance and get you out of here and transfer it to another hospital." And so they did transfer me to another hospital. And they said, "You need to call somebody because you'll probably arrest tonight." They said, "Because your heart is going so fast and it's under great strain, pushing against those clots. And, there's a procedure we can do, but if we do that procedure, you'll probably have a brain hemorrhage." So I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, I'm in total shock. I'm like, how in the world? So it's almost like a death sentence, because either way, I wouldn't do well. They said, if you have the procedure, you might have a brain hemorrhage. If you don't, then you may throw some clots into your the right side of your heart, and so forth and so on. And I said, okay. So I was in ICU, and they started some drips on me and put me on the monitor. And they called my sister because they said I needed to have somebody to sign some paperwork, or to let them know what my wishes were. And so my sister, she came. And when I found out she was coming, I had one request. I told her, I said, "Bring me some patches." And so she did. And when she came to the hospital, she had the patches. And I said, give it to me. I said, "I'm going to put them on myself." I said, "You won't be responsible for anything. I'm putting them on." And so I did. I put the patch on, and with the prayers of my friend and many others. And, one of my friends gave me some encouraging words, some spiritual words. She said, "The Lord would dissolve those clots." But nevertheless, I wore the patches and I continued to wear them. And when I got home, I had such a black uh, discoloration across my entire chest. But I continued to wear the patches. And fast forward again, the doctors told me, they said, you are going to be short of breath. You are going, different things they said. My prognosis was not good. And none of those things they said came true. Because when they sent the physical therapist in there to see how well I could ambulate, not only did I walk around the unit, we also went up and down the stairs. And I was not even short of breath. I was not short of breath. I was not tired. My heart was not racing. And so I asked the doctor, I said, what about these clots? He said, well, sometimes it takes years for them to dissolve and, they can break off. And they gave me all of the bad news because they said, you're a nurse, So nevertheless, I went home and I went to the doctor last month, June the 22nd, I believe it was. And they did an echocardiogram and they did some other tests. And the doctor made me wait 2 hours before I could see him. And so when the cardiologist came in, he was grinning from ear to ear. And he said, you don't have any clots. All of your clots are gone. And I said, what about the right side of my heart? He said, it's completely normal. I said, what about the pulmonary hypertension? Gone. He said, everything is normal. And I knew that I had gotten a divine miracle from the Lord. And I knew that the stem cell patches worked for me. And my boyfriend, he's diabetic. He hurt his leg. He had a big sore. I said, I'm putting a patch on you. I put that patch on his leg. The very next morning, that sore was healed. And I was worried about his, blood sugars and diabetes. They can't get sores like that. I was like, this looks really bad. But because the patch worked so well for me, I was I was knocking on death's door. Because of saddle pulmonary embolism, if you ever look it up, it sits right in the middle of the pulmonary artery, and there are legs that go down both sides of the pulmonary of the lungs. So therefore, at any moment, I can have a massive PE and just die. But here I am, still not short of breath, walking well, and still wearing the patch.
Wow, Brenda, I'm telling you, I don't know about everybody else, but my hair is sticking right up on my arm
Yeah.
because that testimony is so amazing. And see, this is what we mean, you guys. And I told you you would be impressed as this call goes on, because what we cannot say is that this patch heals, cures, or mitigates anything. It's just a miracle how it works. It is something called photobiomodulation. It's just crystals like salt and sugar, and there's a frequency that elevates the copper peptide. See, Laura Picard, who's a scientist, proved, I think, back in 1970 or 71 or something like that, that if the copper peptides in the body are elevated, they will reactivate the stem cells. But when our we go back to when we were young. What happened with Brenda is the cells in our heart, the stem cells in our heart began to reactivate it. It just, her body corrected itself on its own. This is what we mean. We say this is phenomenal. And this is why I could not keep this to myself. This is why Dolly could not keep this to herself. We are literally hearing miracles every single day. We don't even understand what's going on. We just are glad it's going on. Thank you so much, Brenda, for your testimony. I'm so glad that you are just in the condition you're in. You may stop your video and stop your recording. I mean, you mute yourself. And I once again thank you so much for sharing.
Okay.
All right. So I want to see if this gentleman, I'm not sure if he knows I'm going to call on him, but I know that Linda Giles was trying to catch up with him. His name is Samuel Giles. Samuel, is there a way for you to come on here, unmute yourself, share your video, and share your testimony? If you can't do it, I understand, because it's a short notice, but we were trying to catch up with you because you have such a phenomenal testimony. Sammy, are you available? Let me see if I can. Okay, doesn't look like Sam is going to be able to share his testimony, but you know, that's okay, because you know what? That testimony by Brenda, I tell you, there's nothing else really that has to be said, but I hope you all get the message, all right? And so let's go back to the presentation. If Sam, some kind of way you know, get a chance to figure out how to unmute yourself and stuff like that, we'll be glad to listen to your testimony. So I'm going to move on, because I know the people on this call, based on what they heard Brenda say, based on, you know, what I said about my husband and some of the testimonies, and I could go on and on with testimonies. I have said that you're wondering, how can I get this patch? I want to relieve you and let you know this is not something so expensive that you cannot afford it, because really, according to David Schmidt, we should be charging, the company should be charging over $400 for a 30-day supply, which it comes in this beautiful packaging, 30 of these patches, the size of a quarter. But because his mission and his vision was to help people all over the world, to spread all over the world as fast as possible, he gives God the glory for the gift that he gave him to be able to do this. And it's not about the money for him. He wants to help as many people as possible. So in order to do that, it needs to be as affordable as possible. Do you realize that you can get a 30-day supply of these patches for less than the cost of a cup of coffee per day? So you can get a 30-day supply as a customer for $150. However, if you're really economical, like most people are, and I know I try to watch every penny, you want to get it at a wholesale cost like we did. So the first way you can get a 30-day supply is to be what we call a bronze package. It's going to cost $125 simply because they do charge a $25 starter kit fee. But when you get a 90-day supply, that means 3 sleeves, especially if you're married. You want a sleeve for yourself, you want a sleeve for your spouse, and maybe some other people in your family or friends, because you heard, I mean, you know, if Linda, her sister, had not come to that hospital with that patch, who knows where Brenda would be right now. You want to have patches to share with people you care about. So you might want to be a silver package for $300. But then if you get the gold package, you're going to get 5.5 sleeves. They're going to give you a half a sleeve free. And this is going to really allow you to share with more people. Like I'll just give you an example of what I mean. When my husband and I heard about it, we look at all these different packages. You know what I did? I wrote a list down of all of my friends that were couples, 25 couples, and that's not all the friends we had. We wrote down 25 names of couples that we knew. And what we decided, we wanted the husband and the wife to each have 5 of these a piece. So that's like 10 per household. That's 250 patches. Then we said, okay, we know some single people too. So we wrote those names. That was another 25 individuals. That's another 125 patches. If you divide that by 30, that's 12 sleeves, 12.5 sleeves. You see this package right here that says the diamond package. What that package allows you to do is get 19 sleeves, but you don't have, you know, if you are doing it for a reason where you want to continue to get your patches every month, you don't have to pay for a recurring order every month, because you got enough to last you 90 days. So there was 6 more sleeves available for me and my husband. And literally, based on this package right here, not only were we able to help a lot of people, but we also saved money. We only paid $84 a sleeve. So you would want to make sure that you get back with Dolly, because she can go over with you what is the best package for yourself. I know that Dolly happened to buy that same package because Dolly has a big vision for what she wants to do and help people. And so these are the packages that are available. There's some more things about this package that I won't go into, but just know that this is the best deal for your money. And because it's just a great value. Now, if you're like most of us on this call, I know that family has got to be the most important thing in your life. And so why not want to, you know, have more time to spend with your family, or take care of your family if you need to help them in some type of way. just having time freedom to do the things you want to do. I don't know about you all, but I'm a busy person. And I like when I get ready to go, I like to be able to go. If I'm committed to, some corporation or whatever the situation may be, nothing wrong with that. But I do have to, I don't have control over my time that way. Being able to travel, get out of debt, all of the things you see on the screen require money. And so what happens is this, you're going to be really excited to hear this. Every time somebody that you care about or know decides that they want to take advantage of this stem cell technology to boost their body, to get their body in a better state of health, do you realize that not only are you helping that individual, but the company actually compensates you for doing so? And so that's good to know. And so, it is really, changed a lot of people's lives in that area. It has put my husband and I, we got started with this company back in November, but it's put us in a situation now to literally be able, I could walk away from my interior design business right now if I wanted to, simply because the company pays us so well just to do what we're doing. So I want to tell you how big this industry, the stem cell industry is. It's becoming more and more popular because of all the reasons that I've been telling you about. People want healthy stem cells. So the industry is expected to explode. Right now, it's about a $200 million industry, but it is expected within the next 5 to 7 years to explode to 300 billion. And this is based on, information that's available to us. This is no joke. This is becoming huge. So I want you to understand, I want you to put your business hat on, and I also want you to put your servant hat on, because this is about helping people, and we're on a mission to help a lot of people. Here's what's going to happen. If, say, Dolly, you spoke with Dolly and you say, Dolly, I want to get that gold pack. What's going to happen? Dolly will get that pack for you, get it in the system, and you're going to fall on her left side or her right side. This is called a binary compensation plan, because you'll build two teams. And what's going to happen, you are able to earn up to $25,000 each and every week in the binary. This is called a binary. And there are many people that are already earning this. Okay, so this is happening. And what happens is, once you introduce people, every single time they earn money in that binary, you will earn 25% of whatever they earn. So let's say you introduce Dolly to the program. And once I told you, Dolly is really serious about what she's about to do here. If she earns $1,000 this week and you introduce Dolly, you'll earn 25%, $250 of her binary commissions. And then if Dolly introduced someone, that person will fall on your second level, and all the people that Dolly introduces, you will earn 20% of what they earn in the binary. And those people are going to introduce people which will fall on your third level, and you will get to earn 20% of those people as well. Trust me, the matching bonus is an unlimited potential. It's very, very lucrative. And so you may have received from someone or these patches in the mail. Let's say, for example, if you wanted 2 or 3 of these patches to see how they work, we have these little envelopes that very professional looking envelopes that we put them in. There's a website I want you to write down, build331.com. It explains more in detail, because I just gave you a tip of the iceberg with our compensation plan, but the build331.com website will explain everything for you. But what I really want you to take away from this is that how we are helping people, you guys. This is really important to us. This is serious. You see how literally Brenda feels that this patch saved her life. She really feels that way. And I know people literally that were on their way to hospice. And I'll tell you a specific story. A lady named Lana, her daughter had 2 liver transplants and 1 kidney transplant, and her skin had turned dark. Her eyes were yellow, and they said that they were about to take her to hospice. Her mother heard about the X39 patch and drove an hour to get the patches. Same kind of situation Brenda was in. Came back, put the patch on her daughter. She couldn't even move before her mother left home, and she couldn't even raise her arms. 2 hours later, her daughter was able to raise her arms, but 2 days later, her daughter was up cooking and cleaning. Her daughter never went to hospice. Okay, she is doing so well. So that's what I mean by it could possibly save a life. So help us with our mission to spread the word as fast as we can to as many people as we can. We just might help save a life. But with that, you guys, thank you all so much for joining this evening. Dolly will be getting back to you and just seeing, what package you might be interested in, because I know you can't wait to get your own patches. With that being the case, we'll talk to you soon, and you all have a blessed evening.